The New York Giants had the worst season in franchise history, ironically enough, in their Centennial season. But there was a lot more that happened behind the scenes that really is a bad look on Joe Schoen and the rest of the organization. From tanking allegations to planes flying over the field to players now speaking out against the New York Giants and even guys that wanted to be traded, this was one of the worst we've ever seen. What is going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back in to another video. It's Wild Card Weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying the games, but today I wanted to talk a little bit more Giant stuff.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
So we're going to talk about this Jordan Raanan report. If you guys don't know, Jordan Raanan of ESPN, also Tony winner of the Talking Giants channel, he put out an article talking about kind of a little bit in depth of what went on in the Giant facility and a little bit of more info on what went wrong. Not exactly what went wrong, but what was going on while things were going wrong. And it's a longer article. I'm not going to go over every single detail out of fairness to him. You guys should go check out the article. The link will be in the description. But I wanted to go over some key points that I was talking about throughout the season that we are getting a lot more information about now. But of course, before we start, we got to thank our sponsors of the channel, BetUS. Thank you so much to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. Make sure you guys check them out for a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. Your second and third are 125%. And of course, it's Wild Card Weekend. The playoffs are a fun thing to bet on because you kind of know what these teams are at this point, so you might have a better chance of winning. Just make sure you guys use the promo code YouTube150 on BetUS. That's YouTube150. Good luck. So the Giants endured a lot this season in their Centennial season, their 100th season of existence. Not a lot of NFL teams can say that, but the Giants have been around for 100 years, and what a way to represent that. Like I said, from planes flying in the sky to guys asking to be traded and kind of put on the hush-hush about it, and to the entire fan base in complete turmoil, as well as other players leaving and absolutely balling out on their new teams. So in the article, it talks about all of that. It also talked about what happened after that Bucs loss and how everything changed from there. And if you guys notice, if you guys have been paying attention to my channel, I said that Carolina Panthers game told me that that's when they started their tank. And it's ironic that this article starts with everything starting, of course they were like 2-7 at that point or something like that, but everything started to really go downhill, really take a turn for the worse after that Bucs game where they lost 30-7. Also, I'm questioning your integrity here, Jordan Raanan, because they lost 30-7, not 31-7. Even I remembered that loss. Well, I was supposed to go to that game, so I think that's why I remembered it. And it also talks about how they just weren't able to build depth on the roster and come up with contingency plans for injuries. Like, you talk about that offensive line debacle when Andrew Thomas went down. We know Andrew Thomas has dealt with injuries in the past, even last year. Last year, we didn't have him like the whole season. It was from that week 1 game, and we had to throw in Josh Ezeudu in there, and it was terrible. We had to sign Justin Pugh off the couch.
Justin Pugh, straight off the couch.
And the incompetence continued as far as the offensive line goes, where Andrew Thomas goes down. They use Josh Ezeudu again at that tackle position, even though they drafted the guy to be a guard, and now he's playing tackle. They viewed him more as a tackle. He played tackle all of training camp, did not play a lick of guard at all, and so he was expectedly terrible there at picking up where he left off in 2023. And I do feel bad for Josh Ezeudu. He's not good, and they're making him out to be as if he has the expectations of being good. He's just not good. And so when they found out for the 100th time that Josh Ezeudu is not good, they went ahead on the 49ers practice squad and picked up Chris Hubbard, a veteran offensive lineman who has never started in the NFL, not good at all, and they just threw him I threw him on primetime TV. I believe that first game was against the Steelers or something like that, where he just absolutely got worked. So there's a lot of incompetence when it comes to this roster and how they built for contingencies, how they built the depth, and what was their plan moving forward. We don't really know what their plan was moving forward. One quote I found interesting here is, "It was like they made moves off Twitter," a league source with knowledge of the Giants' inner workings told ESPN. That is something you don't want to hear anybody say that is in your inner circle or has any information about how you run things, is to compare your moves to what goes on Twitter, because Twitter is a place of vast incompetence and low IQ and guys just throwing ideas out there because they put it in the damn AI generator. It's crazy. And after they have Chris Hubbard there, they found out he was garbage too. Wow, big surprise. So they take Jermaine Illuminor and put him to left tackle, which was what everybody wanted to happen in the first place. He was the best tackle that we have, other than Andrew Thomas, who's not available. Put him at left tackle and figure out what you're going to do at right tackle. So they put Evan Neal back in there, who has been on the roster the entire time and did not. They got Chris Hubbard from the 49ers practice squad to throw in there before Evan Neal. And those are the tackles that you went into the season with. Josh Azudu and Evan Neal as your backup tackles, and you're not confident in them. And then after Daniel Jones was gone, the quarterback situation was just an absolute carousel. I mean, they started off with Tommy DeVito, which you're like, okay, this team has to be tanking. You're skipping over your number 2 quarterback to go to your number 3 quarterback when you're paying your number 2 quarterback $5 million to be on the roster this season. Wan'Dale Robinson said that was definitely something we didn't know what was going on at that point, but that's above our pay grade, where it's kind of like, all right, it is what it is. I don't make the decisions. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I'm just here to play ball. And then when it came down to playing time, the article also talks heavily about Isaiah Simmons and not getting basically any reps this season at all, even though the Giants re-signed him, and he also had his own little spot on Hard Knocks where Shane Bowen said that he wanted to find something special for Isaiah Simmons, and they're going to work with him and use him as a weapon, as a guy that they could throw all over the place. Hell, they even addressed him as a safety when they announced their 53-man roster. It really looked like they were going to do something with Isaiah Simmons, but we come to find out he played 33.5% of defensive snaps last season. This season that we just finished, he only played 16.1% of defensive snaps. You can go back to the Adoree Jackson situation before the season. Everybody was saying, hey, we have no other options. Just bring Adoree Jackson back. Like, just bring him back. He's not on another team right now. We're late in the offseason. There's no reason not to bring him back. Instead, they announced Cordell Flott as being the starter just to then sign Adoree Jackson like last minute and bring him in. Like, they don't know what they're doing with this roster. They have no plan. I mean, what kind of organization is going to sit there and say, Cordell Flott, I think you've shown us enough to be a starter this season? I mean, you may like Cordell Flott. He may be a fan favorite just because they want to see the grind. They want to see him develop this, that, and the third. But they drafted him in the 3rd round. He was not even supposed to be a 3rd round pick. Nobody even knew who he was. And he's shown flashes, but he is no way in shape or form a starter in this league. And the incompetence, and I don't know if it's pride at this point, that they just want to win with the guys that they drafted, that it took them to the last minute to say, all right, I guess we got to sign Adoree Jackson back. And we all remember what happened with Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt had 8 catches this season. 8! And don't get me wrong, I'm going to get my flowers, okay? Because you guys tore me up when Jalen Hyatt was drafted. You guys tore me to shreds because I did not like the pick. I hated the pick. Even though it was a 3rd round pick, I tried to see the most positive part about it, but I warned you guys that Jalen Hyatt is a scheme-dependent wide receiver. He cannot run routes. He needs time to develop. Maybe he could have a Darius Slayton sort of ascension in the NFL, where another guy that did not run a lot of routes, could not catch the ball, and found a way to be better at all of those things. Jalen Hyatt cannot run routes. He's a one-trick pony, and teams, when they see him on the field, they know what he's doing. They know where he's going. And then even when they got him running in breaking routes and short routes, he just can't do anything. He doesn't do anything effective. He can catch the ball, but that's pretty much it. Jalen Hyatt, although I think he deserved a lot more reps this season. They just didn't trust him. They just didn't see him being a factor on this offense, which is why he didn't play. And I bring all of that up to say Jalin Hyatt went as far as to say that, according to, I think it was Jordan Raanan as well, said that if you're not going to play me, then trade me. Jalin Hyatt later on kind of denied those that statement, saying that he never said that, but it seems more likely than not that he did say that. And then here is the kicker. This is what I really want to get into. You guys remember Nick McCloud was surprisingly just cut out of nowhere after he did not want to take a pay cut with the New York Giants, and it makes you wonder, like, was Nick McCloud even making that much money to just be cut out of nowhere? Apparently, there was a difference in, sides when it came to Nick McCloud's agent and Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen was trying to clear up some cap space. Apparently, it was only going to save them about $500K. Nick McCloud was originally on a 1-year, $2.98 million, let's just say $3 million deal. It's not anything that should break the bank. It is a little high for a guy that doesn't really get a lot of playing time, but he's depth. He's a guy that's probably going to get playing time just based on what happens with this team as the season goes on. There's a lot of injuries. But let's get into this part of the article. This is what I really want to talk about. The lack of trust worsened as the season progressed, according to several players, and the losses continued. One situation several players mentioned was how the team dealt with cornerback Nick McCloud. That is very telling that multiple players mentioned this Nick McCloud situation, which is why I think Jordan Raanan really wanted to focus on that and make that one of the pieces in the article. Let's continue. Before the start of the Week 4 game against the Cowboys, the Giants wanted Nick McCloud to take a pay cut from a 1-year, $2.98 million deal he signed as a restricted free agent in the offseason, according to a player source. McCloud wanted to remain with the Giants, but on his current deal, asking him to take a pay cut during the season before a game he was set to start was bold and unusual, according to multiple executives around the league. So you're telling me that he was slated to start in a game. He doesn't get opportunities like that very often. He was slated to start in a game, and before that game, they'd have a meeting with him saying, hey, we want you to think about taking a pay cut for this team. Now, if that doesn't give you confidence to start in an NFL game, I don't know what will. According to multiple Giants players, Shane told McCloud's representative, don't pay October's rent, all right? As soon as I can replace him, I'm going to replace him. I'm not effing around. He basically said, don't pay your rent in this month because I'm going to replace him, so you guys are going to be somewhere else. That is kind of heartless, and he's trying to sound like a hard ass, as if he's like really like my 10 toes down, I'm planted in there, I'm not moving off of this pay cut. I want this to happen, otherwise he's gone. Like, he's making it seem like this is like a Saquon situation or Xavier McKinney, and we know Joe Schoen is very hard stanced on his opinions. Like, if he wants something to happen, like if he has a line drawn somewhere, he doesn't shy away from that. We saw that a big amount in Hard Knocks with Saquon Barkley. He did not budge from the negotiations with Saquon Barkley, and he was able to let him go. The same situation with Nick McCloud, but the cameras are not on him, so he's able to say whatever he wants. And it's funny because he said he's going to replace him. Who did he replace him with? He said, as soon as I can replace him, I'm going to replace him. Who did they replace him with? Greg Stroman? So this is the problem with the New York Giants right now. And, you guys know that once Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen were announced that they were both being retained, multiple players came out. Well, they didn't come out. They were asked about it. And one of the quotes that they said, one of the most frequent words that they said was they were surprised that they were sticking around. That's not something you want to hear. And if you watch a lot of their interviews, you think they're happy-go-lucky about it, you think they have a smile on their faces, they kind of look distraught. They kind of look like, oh, damn, like we're going to have to deal with another year of this. So I don't know what's going to happen. This year's going to be a very interesting offseason. It's a big draft. Even Brian Burns said it, who just got on the team. He said this is going to be a big draft for them. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you guys take this article? Did you guys read the entire thing? And what do you take from it? Man, this is just an absolute dumpster fire that's going on right now. I mean, I thought the Joe Judge stuff was really bad. I thought the Ben McAdoo stuff was really bad. I thought the Dave Gettleman stuff was really bad. or the Wink Martindale stuff most recently was really bad, but this is just the icing on the cake. This is just like, it's all about front office right now, and it's trickling down, and it's really affecting the entire team, and it's not going to take one off season to fix this, I'll tell you that much. And it just seems like John Mara is giving them one more season to fix it, and they are inevitably going to fail. So that being said, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video, and we'll see you guys next time.